Hi, I'm Venus Sohara and welcome to a new video. I make content about holistic self-love and I am doing daily uploads for Vlogmas. That means daily uploads until Christmas. My videos will not be about Christmas. However, Christmas does influence today's topic, which is confessions of a former workaholic. Yes, I used to be a workaholic, and that meant for me working 7 days a week. I was a freelancer, so it wasn't because I wanted to work all the time. I felt like I had to work all the time. I didn't know who I was when I wasn't working. Work was very much a part of my only identity. And also because my work was so much fun, writing about sexuality, making videos, etc. I didn't really know where work ended and life began. So it was a very blurry line. Very blurry line for me when it came to my social life. Also, I felt like I couldn't justify doing things for my social life because I had to work or I didn't really know when the next money was coming from, etc. So this I was very much in a fear state of mind, scarcity state of mind, and it was really taking toll on my mental health and personal life. And I was someone who really looked forward to Mondays because Mondays gave me a sense of purpose. Because at the weekend I was like, oh, what is my life? I have nothing, no one to see, nowhere to go. And I also felt very disconnected from people I've known in Barcelona for a long time because I became sober 9.5 years ago. So that meant that a lot of my social life options were not available to me. I didn't really know how to find a new tribe. And but then when it got to December 2019, I decided to really take action on my abysmal social life. I knew that something had to change because I didn't want to get to the following Christmas and have the same thing happen. I didn't want this to be a pattern that would repeat over and over in my life. So it was time to really prioritize my personal life, but also to heal from those wounds. I think one of my wounds was thinking that because I was working in sexuality, making content about sexual wellness, I assumed that I wouldn't be able to have a relationship or to have any type of success in my personal life. Even though I'm kind of writing about personal life topics, it has been challenging for me in the dating world. But I do believe now that it just takes someone who can see through what I'm doing online and just can see the real me. I'm just someone who's at home with no makeup. I love natural living. I love healthy eating. I love taking care of myself. I'm all about self-love. And someone who's not intimidated by the dildos on the shelf back there. So I just assumed that I was making this personal sacrifice for my content consumers. I don't think that anymore. I think now that the better my personal life is, the more I can give, because you can give more from a full cup for sure. So going back to December 2019, I declared a month of self-love. I really had to take action on this inner sadness that I was experiencing whenever I wasn't working. And it just got this silence. I had to silence this longing for belonging and connection, and also just to comfort myself, I suppose. So I met this guy who was from my Toastmasters group who was doing this event, a Ho'oponopono and breathwork event. And I'd never done breathwork. I didn't even know what Ho'oponopono was. And it's basically a Hawaiian meditation of 4 sentences, which is, I don't remember the actual order, but it's I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you. So in those 4 sentences, you've got forgiveness, which is a very powerful emotion, and also you've got love and you've got gratitude. So those are very, very powerful emotions, intentions, and these sentences were repeated over and over some really cool music. And then we were doing this breath work. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was lying in this room with all these strangers and everyone was crying. It was so deep and it really activated my wounds. And it was such a beautiful experience. And I mean, partly I felt a bit embarrassed to be, crying in this room full of strangers. But then I realized that everyone was crying. it felt like a group healing experience. It was very bonding, even though I didn't even know the names of the people in the group. No one. I just went alone and left alone, and then paid my friend. I was like, thank you, thank you. Wow, it was kind of very, very intense. And then I also did Reiki a couple of times, and I just felt this massive sadness shifting inside me. The first few times I actually did Reiki in my life, it was always very emotional, a lot of energy moving inside me, and also just this feeling of liberating the melancholy that I've been hiding. I've been hiding behind this smile. There's a lot of sadness within me that just needed to be expressed. And just feeling that desire to want to be held and comforted by something or someone, and not really knowing who to reach out to. So that was a very challenging experience. But going to these different healers and practicing or experiencing these different healing modalities really gave me that safe space to actually express those emotions that were kind of building up inside me that I didn't really feel I could express in a way that was empowering or understood. Because sometimes you can just cry on your own in your house, but it is nice to kind of use that energy for a healing purpose and release it, so that you do feel lighter later, and there's some kind of improvement or transformation that occurs through that release as well. I'm not really sure that happens when you're just crying on your own. I'm sure it's a good thing to do that, but it's going to practice some kind of healing modality or going to some healer. That was a whole different level. It's also you're making a decision to say, I am healing. I've had enough. So that was very empowering. I also did my very first yoga retreat over the Christmas period, and I've made a couple of videos about it here. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences I've ever done. It was one of the best Christmases of my life. So I was so glad I made that decision. So if you are someone who doesn't take time for yourself, I think a retreat is a wonderful thing to do. And I think this type of tourism now is really growing at the moment, because retreats are like, you can do it. They are very good for solo travelers. You don't have to liaise with a partner or a family or go with a friend. You can just go on your own, but you're never really alone when you go to a retreat. I think sometimes those conversations you have with the other retreat members, that they tend to be quite deep in my experience. It's more like not just what's your name, where are you from? It's what's your name, what's your trauma kind of thing. And there's this deep bond that takes place. So in this retreat, I experienced things I'd never experienced before, like extended periods of silence, kirtan, which is like singing yoga on Christmas Day, which was amazing to get away from that commercial side of Christmas and just be in a place where there was no decorations of Christmas. It was just a place in Alicante, actually, so it was beautiful weather as well. I remember I was one of the first people to arrive at this retreat, and I was shown my room, and I was just wondering who's coming to a retreat at Christmas. And to my surprise, we were 11 women, and a lot of them, they were recently separated or divorced, and it was their first Christmas without their children. And one of them, it was her first Christmas, without her family in 25 years. Imagine that pain. So it was really, sometimes we were laughing together, other times we were crying together. So it was a really beautiful experience, and something I would definitely recommend if you are someone who if you have any type of personal struggle, going on a retreat is definitely a cool thing to do. And there are many types of retreats. You don't have to be into yoga or spirituality. You could be just wanting to go to do some hiking, a bit of meditation, maybe a bit of nature, forest bathing. There's all these cool things you can do now. So I think it's really important to invest in yourself in that way, because then you will actually work better. And that's something that I've really learned, because from that point, that was December 2019, but I learned some very valuable lessons about prioritizing downtime and prioritizing trying to meet like-minded people, and I've really made an effort since then. But of course, as we know, what happened then in March, it was the pandemic, and that was another time when, even though I had all these intentions to improve my social life, there was no social life possible because it was illegal to have one, because of the lockdown, etc. So that was a time of even more introspection that I didn't really want to take part in, and also a lot of workaholism. But I also that was a time when I actually started to read a lot. So I was doing this in a journey of healing, of learning, of personal development. And then when the pandemic eased off and things got a bit more back to normal, that's when I started a group called Conscious Connections here in Barcelona. And now I'm also the leader of Barcelona Vegan Community. And I think it's so important to try and create a social life with like-minded people, not just random getting together because we're all lonely. I think it's just so much deeper and so much more valuable when there is something that connects you with other people. So now I am no longer a workaholic. I have the most incredible social life, and it's something that I've really, really worked hard on. And I think it's really important to work hard on the social life that you desire. And I think for me, what was challenging is trying to construct a social life that was healthy, because before, when I used to drink alcohol, a social life meant going out, drinking, networking, and having hangovers. Whereas now I can still be in those atmospheres, but because my rejection towards alcohol is so strong, I don't have to worry about any types of temptation. I actually love having a sharp mind and actually remembering all the conversations that I'm having. But in general, I am attracting more people who are very, very much on the same wavelength as I am, who are sober and into healthy eating, etc. And also more nature things, or spiritual social life, which has been amazing. And then when you have this reason to connect on a deeper level, that's not just let's get drunk, then friendships emerge, which is so important. I think we really do need a tribe around us, a soul tribe ideally, and that's what's really saved me. So now I have a friend who I've known for many years, like 20 years, and he comes to Barcelona 3 times a year to visit me. And whenever he comes, I tell him the list of social engagements that we have, and he's just like, wow, you've changed so much. So now I'm just really am a socialite, a social butterfly here in Barcelona, and it's just been amazing. I am so grateful that I did reach a point where it was very hard, but I got up and I sorted it out and found solutions. So my hope for you, if you are a workaholic, is that you learn the virtues of balance before something happens that makes you have to do that, not out of choice, because that can happen a lot as well when people get sick or get very burnt out or something like that from working too much. I think for me, what kind of salvaged me, what was something that was kind of helpful, it seemed helpful, was the fact that my work is fun. But I know for a lot of people who are doing, are workaholics, they might not have that, where they're doing things which might not be, not topics that you can have conversations with strangers on, It's just like maybe unrelatable topics. But because my topic was relatable, like sexuality, relationships, I think that did mean that it was more fun when I was doing it, but also there's this blurry line of where's work, where's life, Yeah, so now I am a recovered workaholic. I'm still working hard. And sometimes it's really funny because at nighttime, I get excited about the next day. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got tomorrow. I want to do all these things. And that kind of inhibits my sleep a little bit as well, because I'm just so excited about the next day, which is a great thing. But of course, it's better to approach the day when you are well rested and you've had that time for downtime. Yeah, and also another thing I didn't mention, which is super important, is meditation. I've probably made a few videos about that. So that's really helping me wind down at night as well. I'm prioritising meditation a lot now. I'm doing 1.5 to 2 hours a day of meditation at the moment. And I'm at a time now where my workload has increased so much, and I've had to dial back a little bit on some social things because I don't want to sacrifice my alone time. I want to kind of have that time for introspection so I can get all the work done that I want to do, and then enjoy some amazing social engagements with good friends over the festive period, which I no longer dread. I have so many cool things lined up for the next couple of weeks to celebrate Christmas and New Year. Anyway, that's my story of a recovered workaholic. I hope this is inspiring to you, and if you are a workaholic, I hope you feel inspired to find balance in your life. That's all for today, and if you have any suggestions for new videos, don't hesitate to contact me or leave a comment in the comment section below. I'll be reading, I'll be responding. I'm making videos every single day, so now is your chance to send me your requests. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to meditate right now. Mwah. Good night.